Rivals back at it for the first time this year. Ravens with the best record in the AFC. Steelers desperate for a signature win. And in Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in a familiar first place in the division as the Broncos come to town. Denver's lost 11 straight to these guys, but they're feeling good after crushing the Chargers. Time for their defense to step up and have a day. And time to get you ready. Sunday NFL Countdown from New York City starts right now.
We ready. We ready.
What would you sacrifice to get the win?
We ready.
Believe in each other. Trust each other. Pray for each other.
For ya.
Probably the most physical game you'll probably ever play.
You get your butt kicked. It happens sometimes.
Lamar Jackson, he's Houdini.
I'm supposed to do what I'm supposed to do, play Lamar ball.
Joe Mixon, second rushing touchdown.
Make playoffs, win the division.
Get ready to catch the ball. He throwing the ball to you, you better catch it.
We turn the ball over too many times. We've got to stop with some of these self-inflicted wounds.
Douglas to the house.
We're right in the mix in December. That's where you want to be.
You ain't gonna play without a tooth. That ain't nothing.
Touchdown, Leonard Fournette. Wow, is that the dagger?
Or he's gonna lock it up, or we'll be in a dogfight all the way to the end.
Everybody sit back. Grab your popcorn.
Let's put on a show.
Great game.
Welcome to Sunday NFL Countdown, presented by Snickers.
We've got rivalries renewed in divisional matchups all over the league today. Week 13 has the Ravens heading to Pittsburgh to play the Steelers, the Broncos playing the Chiefs, and Tom Brady tries to stay perfect against the Falcons. Plus, tomorrow night, a big one on Monday Night Football. It's the Patriots and the Buffalo Bills. Can't wait for that, but for now, we say hello to Week 13 from our New York City set here on Sunday NFL Countdown. I'm Sam Ponder with Randy Moss.
Good morning, Miss Sandra D.
Oh, I knew that was coming. The big hair is for Texas, okay? We're spending some time in Grapevine, Texas today as we get you ready for the college football selection show. Thank you for pointing that out, Randy Moss. I will get you later in the show. Don't worry about that. That is Teddy Bruschi, and that is Matthew Hasselbeck. A lot to get to today, but we start with our insiders. One of them I know is very happy today, and that is Mr. Adam Schefter. Should I say go blue, or is that uncomfortable for you right now? Congrats on the big win last night. What are the top stories this morning?
Well, it's all good. Both insiders are very happy this morning, Sam, just for the record. And the big stories this morning are these. Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins, both listed as questionable for today's game against the Chicago Bears. Both are expected to play. This is the date that the Cardinals have been circling after the bye week. Now, the question will be, in the cold and wet conditions in Chicago, how much Hopkins will play. He's going to test his hamstring out pregame to make that final determination. But Murray is expected to be out there. Hopkins is expected to be out there. We'll see how long he lasts out there. And Andy Dalton will be starting against the Chicago Bears. The Cardinals have beaten him in each of the last 2 years, Mort.
And the Eagles, Jalen Hurts is questionable as well. They went to bed. The Eagles did last night. Not optimistic that he would be able to start today. That would make him miss his first start. He hurt his ankle in the fourth quarter of last week's loss against the Giants. He did not participate in any full team drills. Some walkthroughs, had a lot of treatment, did some individual drills, but there was pessimism as the week went on. We will find out in pregame. It's not a case of him testing the ankle, Adam. It's just a case of whether he feels good to go and they're comfortable with him going. He could dress as the number 2 behind Gardner Minshew if necessary.
Well, Mort, no quarterback ever has spent as long in one city as Ben Roethlisberger has spent in Pittsburgh, 18 seasons. But this now is expected to be the final season. Roethlisberger has told some former teammates, some people within the organization, that he plans for this to be his last season in Pittsburgh. He's never wanted to play anywhere else, and while that really is highly unlikely that he would go and play somewhere else, that would mean that these final 5 games here down the stretch would be the send-off for the 6-time Pro Bowl quarterback who led the Steelers to 2 Super Bowl titles in the top 6 in most NFL passing categories. And Pittsburgh has plenty of cap space this offseason if it wants to go pursue a veteran quarterback. We'll see how that all shakes out, Sam.
Yeah, Adam, it's big news, but not necessarily a huge shock. We've kind of seen this coming. He's talked about it in the last couple years. But, Teddy, if you're in that locker room for the Steelers right now, this is clearly a team in search of motivation. If you saw him last week against the Chargers, how does knowing that impact you, if at all?
It depends on how you care about your quarterback, really. I mean, if you have very strong feelings, which I think they should, because let me just say this. I mean, Ben Roethlisberger is one of the greatest Steelers of all time. I played against him during his early years. He's a Hall of Fame player. I think we all agree on that. No doubt. And he is just a special Steeler forever. Now, Mike Tomlin now has been searching for that motivation, Sam, to try to get his players to play. He talked about being back in the kitchen last week when they played the Bengals. He was openly public about how big of a game it was, and they laid an egg. So now your quarterback's saying, I'm about to tap out here, and this is my last year. How much motivation does it bring them? Because they definitely need motivation, because these haven't been the Steelers that we're used to seeing.
Yeah, good. I mean, they need motivation, and they got to pick it up. I mean, especially the people who catch the ball. 18 drops this year so far for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's not going to get it. That's not going to get it done. That's not going to cut it. That's not the standard that the Steelers have set. But also even for Ben, if this is really it for Ben, then he's got to play a little bit better. Because he doesn't get any do-overs when it's over. I mean, last week in the first half, he completed less than half of his passes, 2 interceptions, 1 was a pick 6. So I'm sure for him, his focus is going to be on the same thing. Hey, listen, I don't know how many more of these I have. I got to make them count when I do have the opportunity to go strap it up.
I think today, this matchup for Ben is a great matchup. And he can take all that experience and everything else and use it today. And he's got some one-on-one favorable matchups in this game. All right, you've got Baltimore comes limping into this game. Look, half their roster are backups out there. So you got to get it done. And you talk about Mike Tomlin searching for things. Well, he's got it right in front of him. They have to win this game. And if they don't, they're in real trouble. And here's the thing: Teddy, you just talked about how this is not the old Steelers. The Steelers of old. And man, are you right about that. Their record in their past 17 games is 6-10-1. Hardly Pittsburgh Steeler football.
You sitting there talking about Big Ben going against this Raven team. You talking about they're limping into this game. That's the way they've been playing and winning games all season. Mm-hmm. So I think the Pittsburgh Steelers do have their work cut out for them. But back to Big Ben Roethlisberger, I think that at the beginning of the season, if we would have been talking about, hey, this is Ben's final, at the beginning of the season, if we'd have been saying, hey, this is Big Ben's final season, let's get up for Big Ben and let's bring some energy from week 1, all the way to week 17. But we're in the month of December. We're talking about motivation. How can
we just say they're going to make a run now because Ben says that's it? Where's it been the whole year?
You look at the youth of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Sam, you started out over the last couple of years. This is the talk out of Pittsburgh. Is this the last season for Big Ben? About 3 or 4 years now? Yep. I think now, if it is time for the Pittsburgh Steelers to move on, I like what Big Ben has been able to do for the tenure that he's been there. But this team is young, they're hungry, and they're ready to compete in this division when you look at the other teams that's there to compete.
And especially on the offensive side of the ball. I don't think this is a surprise to anyone in the organization of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Rookies in key spots all along that offensive side of the ball, the tight end, the run.